I want to make a family for my 5 kids.
Now, Ms. Douglas, you just keep saying, okay, now see, I do not believe in cheating. I do not believe in cheating. But when he does this, then I go do that. Now, at some point, the tit for tat, it just turns into a catastrophe.
Entangled in the romance of being with an older man, Ms. Moyet wasn't only left with having to take care of her little baby girl, but she was also left with a more than shattered heart. Will she get over the heartbreak? Let's find out.
Moyet, you're here in court today to prove that Mr. Lester, a man who is 20 years older than you, is the father of your 3-month-old daughter, Nyla Moyet. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. Well, Your Honor, Mr. Lester has hardly been involved in Nyla's life. Besides the fact of 3 cases of diapers.
Things were never all lovey-dovey between Mr. Lester and Ms. Moyet. When she found out she was pregnant, she told Mr. Lester. But was he excited about the baby? Hell no. It was like the baby was gonna spoil all the fun he was having.
When you told him about the pregnancy, what was his reaction, Ms. Moyet?
He was not happy. I actually planned this pregnancy. I went over his house the day I was ovulating, okay? And I let him know, babe, I'm ovulating. I want to have a baby. We did nothing.
That is not true.
Yeah, we did nothing to prevent Nyla. And to make matters even worse, since I've had Nyla, we still haven't done anything to prevent another one.
Mr. Lester wasn't going to allow her to state the obvious, so he jumped in and called her a big fat liar, stating that all she said was all in her head and they hadn't been intimate in a really long while. Well, I sure saw that coming. He denied it all. But the revelations from Ms. Moyet will leave you in so much shock.
That's a lie. Now, it's not, Yana, we've had sex since I've had my daughter 5 times. I've counted.
That's not true.
Well, she's only 3 months old.
Exactly.
And
Yesterday, when you had sex, did you use protection?
yeah.
No.
Mr. Lester isn't being nice to Ms. Moyet at all in the courtroom. He kept emphasizing the fact that he didn't want a relationship with Ms. Moyet. He said he just wanted to have a good time. But Ms. Moyet was insistent on having a baby for him. Now, who's telling the truth? I'm pretty confused at this point.
I did want a sexual relationship without being in a committed relationship. I did want that, and she agreed to it.
I
And we
agreed
both-
to it in the
we both
beginning. And when he
agreed to
told me that he loved me, it opened me up to the fact that, well, maybe it could be. I mean, my background is not the best as far as me and my father.
It was war in that courtroom. The things that were coming out of both Mr. Lester and Ms. Moyet's mouths were just very unbelievable. Even Judge Lauren was very confused as she couldn't add up what they were saying.
You're 45 years old.
Absolutely.
So when a woman says to you, I want to have your baby, and you say, no, I really don't want you to, and you're still having sex without protecting yourself, you're setting yourself up.
I've only had sex with Iris for 5 times.
That's a lie. You've never used
Your
a
Honor.
condom. Now, with the girls that he's cheating on me with.
Mr. Lester, who never wanted to have a kid with Ms. Moyet, stated that he had doubts that the baby was his. Was he being delusional? I mean, he was basically sleeping with Ms. Moyet without using protection. Trust me, people, these two are nuts.
Boyfriend that's better than me, and I asked her, well, why you calling me tonight? Her response to me was, I could do both of y'all. I could do him Monday and do you Tuesday.
Yana, that's a lie. Let me tell you, that's a lie, Yana.
Thirdly, I come by, I see her with the same guy over and over and over again.
The neighborhood
The
guy.
neighborhood guy, yes.
Well, it's finally time to uncover the truth after so many lies and deceptions. The day of reckoning is finally here, with everyone itching to know the truth. Are you ready to find out? I bet you are. So take a deep breath because here it comes.
Mr. Lester, you are Nyla's father.
Yes! Yes!
Ma'am.
Ma'am.
Didn't I tell you?
Ma'am.
Didn't I tell you?
You need to be
Ms.
respectful.
Moyet,
Didn't I tell you?
Ma'am, I understand you're upset. Use proper language.
Mr. Jones and Ms. Dolis have to be the funniest couple on the paternity court show. Their love story bounces from cheating to lying to deceiving. You just name it. From one charade to the next, these two find themselves in court, dragging each other for who is the better parent. Buckle up, people. You're about to be dumbfounded by this couple's drama.
All right, Ms. Douglas, you are suing the father of your 5 children for a paternity test. You claim at times the defendant, Mr. Jones, doesn't treat your daughter, Cheyenne, as his own, and that he has always been suspicious that he's not her biological father. You admit that you kept a secret from him and you cheated on him with his cousin.
Getting down into the bits of this drama, right from the beginning of the case, Ms. Dolas admitted to cheating on Mr. Jones. She apparently slept with his cousin. Now that's all shades of crazy if you ask me. Here's the shocking thing. Mr. Jones was no saint. He was also cheating on her with her own cousin and one of his baby mamas. I would have lost my mind if I were the judge, judge, honestly.
You admit to cheating. Do you believe the defendant has reason to doubt paternity of Cheyenne?
Yes, Your Honor, I do, because I did make a mistake. I slept with his cousin, and the condom had broke. But before that, Tyrone was downstairs sleeping with my cousin. He was still having sex with his baby's mom.
Just like in the movies, Mr. Jones and Mrs. Douglas met at a party. Things got pretty freaky and interesting after that, and they ended up getting pretty intimate. Well, I saw that coming. Prepare to be wowed. After her cozy night with Mr. Jones, she met his cousin, and voila, she went down on him too. How does that even happen?
It got good. I met Tyrone actually at a party that happened downstairs in my building. I met him and his cousin almost the same night. Me and Tyrone got together the first night we watched movies. The next night we did have sex, but we weren't together. We just had sex, and after that he went back to his other baby's mom. And then I met his cousin, and I slept with his cousin, but we weren't together.
Things were starting to get heated up in the courtroom, with both of them staring into each other's eyes like it was about to be a bloodbath. Boom! Ms. Douglas gets pregnant. Ring, ring, ring. She hits up and tells Mr. Jones that it's his baby. Things seem pretty nice, right? Well, let's burst some bubbles.
I mean, sort of. We actually wasn't in a relationship at the time when she slept with my cousin, but she basically just denied doing it up until the point. That's the reason we here now.
Okay. What did you feel, Mr. Jones, when you heard Ms. Douglas say, "I'm pregnant and it's yours"?
I wasn't too sure about it when she told me, but I'm like, okay, when she did tell me, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna step up and do what I gotta do.
She finally decides to open up 2 damn years later, telling Mr. Jones that she had a thing with his cousin. You could see the rage in his eyes, wondering where and how it all went down. Just like that, good baby daddy starts to play the role of, "I'm not sure this is my kid. I did tell you things were going to escalate."
Everything. How long did it take you to tell the truth?
After my daughter was 2 years old.
Okay, so you are are you in a committed relationship?
No.
You just going along for the baby's sake.
But when I was pregnant, he didn't care. He did not care at all.
Did you care?
I mean, I cared, but it was just to the point to where when I met her, she was pregnant by another guy who was actually incarcerated at the time, but she was also messing around with another guy.
Slowly, all hell starts to break loose. Ms. Douglas spills the beans about Mr. Jones, telling the court how he wasn't there for her daughter and that he was taking care of his other kids with his baby mama. Yup, you had that right. Other kids. It's already a whole mess at this point. Everyone's asking, who's really telling the truth?
When the baby was 2, he went to Chicago with his other's baby mama. We were together then, and I'm pregnant with his son. He went to Chicago. We didn't hear from him for about 4 months. Didn't call check up on his daughter, didn't call check up on the pregnancy or nothing. How I knew he was in Chicago with his baby mama was she texted my phone like, "Oh, you're looking for your man? He's with me. You wonder why he's not calling your daughter? Because he's with me." That's how I knew he was in Chicago.
Emotions are flying here and there. Hold your seats for another bombshell, people. Trust me, your ears aren't ready for this. This couple had other kids before their daughter, and they aren't even married. Are these two a baby factory, or what's going on with them?
You all 5 children potentially together. Was your relationship ever committed? Was it ever an important thing to either one of you? Are we just making babies? Is it a baby factory? What is it?
It's clear that these two had no trust for each other. Even after having more than 1 child together, they can't seem to bring themselves to trust each other. Why would they? I mean, after getting intimate with each other's cousins. That's beyond a far stretch.
Even after child number 2, you think he's cheating?
Yeah. I just had my twins 7 months ago. He's still talking to women. I don't never talk to anybody first. After I find out he cheats on me, that's when I do it. But I really do want to be with him, and I want to make a family for my 5 kids.
Now, Ms. Douglas, you just keep saying, okay, now see, I do not believe in cheating. I do not believe in cheating. But when he does this, then I go do that.
Everything went from a peaceful conversation to a bloodbath, with the couples throwing tantrums about who got intimate with whom and who couldn't be a good parent. Well, the moment of truth is finally here. Every single eye is placed on the judge as she's about to reveal the final verdict. Hold your breath.
Mr. Jones, you are not fine.
She knew this from the beginning. Now I'm embarrassed, gotta face public humiliation because she didn't want to be honest before we came here.
Your Honor, I didn't know. I didn't even know the kind of busted. Man, now my daughter ain't gonna have a dad.
This almost felt like betrayal on Mr. Patterson's path. After taking care of the baby and making sure he was present every day of the kid's life, Ms. Knight wakes up one morning and says, he isn't the father. We're about to dive into a tale of delusion. Grab your pie and enjoy the ride.
Opened your case today to prove that you are 4-year-old DeMarcus Patterson Jr.'s biological father. You named him and have cared for your junior since birth and are furious the defendant now claims another man is his father. father. Is this correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
We are about to enter the domain of questionable romance, where these guys' relationship isn't exactly a fairy tale. It is a saga involving two men, a lady, and a 4-year-old boy.
You know, since he came out the womb, since he entered this world, when the doctor first, held him up and finally gave him to him, I witnessed him just completely quit crying and looked me dead in my eyes, and that's when, at that moment, I knew I became someone's father. So at that moment, like all the doubts that we had before, I just knew like they was just out the window and just it was gonna leave us a happy family.
Well, the doubts and reservations were running pretty deep over here, but no worries, cause baby daddy went on a long rant explaining why he had his doubts. And boy, did he bag some solid points.
Yes, Your Honor, in a way. When she first told me she was pregnant, that's when we was like, I guess you could say doing the house hopping thing, cause like in order
Doing the what?
the house hopping thing, cause when she moved out of her parents' house, she ain't had nowhere to go, so let her live there too.
I mean, that's how we started our relationship. We were together every day since then. DeMarcus ended up cheating on me within the time we were together, and I ended up leaving.
Things started to take a different turn as the truth started to unfold. Ms. Knight was not a faithful partner. The tension started to fill the courtroom, and even Judge Lauren was amazed by the things she heard. Yep, they were crazy.
Which is the other possible father.
Right. We ended up having protected sex that night, and then we ran out of condoms, and while we were doing it, I told him to go ahead and get me pregnant. That's what I told him. And as soon as I found out I was pregnant, I called DeMarcus and let DeMarcus know, I'm pregnant right now, and it's a possibility that it's Ladarius's baby or your baby. DeMarcus told me to come home.
So
I
you
gave
got
birth.
back together with Mr. Patterson.
Because me and Ladarius were like oil and water, and we could not do it.
Ms. Knight finds out she's pregnant. Well, that's not surprising. Accusations start flying about the courtroom like it's a competition. They go on making a fuss about what to name the baby. It turns into a whole charade, and no one can make any sense of what's going on. The question I keep asking is how they even became a couple.
DeMarcus looked over, said, "That's my baby. We ain't naming him no Christian. We naming him DeMarcus Patterson."
Did you say that, Mr.
That ain't exactly how it happened.
How'd it go?
When I looked the baby in the eyes, I was like, dang, he just completely just be quiet, just quit crying, everything like he was at peace. And I looked at her, and that's when the doctors left the room. She was like, what name should we give him? I was like, oh no. She said I always wanted a junior, and I was like, you'll do that?
There's a whole lot of craziness going on right now. As things go on, Judge Lauren starts to dig a little deeper. She starts to find out the most shocking things. And when I say shocking, trust me, your jaws are going to drop.
Does DeMarcus Jr. call Mr. Patterson daddy?
Yeah. LJ turned about 3 months, and I looked at him one time, and I was like, wow, he kind of looked like Ladarius.
Oh, so you all were open about this?
Yes, we were always open. We would take rides to the gas station. He'd show me pictures of Ladarius, like, you sure this ain't that?
Their stories stopped making sense and adding up. It sounded like they were being made up, and Judge Lauren just wasn't having it anymore. She asked the other man in the picture to step into the courtroom, and my God, did he have a lot to say.
In the midst of me and Kaylin having dealings or intimacy, I was the one who told her she was pregnant. And when I told her she was pregnant, she say, well, if you feel like that, take me to the clinic. So I did. So when we got back from that situation, we had conflict. She like, it could possibly be his. It could possibly be yours. So therefore now, like she say, oil and water.
Now this is where it all gets really messed up. When I say messed up, I mean really, really messed up. The 4-year-old boy calls both men daddy. How does a kid call 2 different men daddy? This really is a baby daddy war.
One thing about this young man, if don't nobody else love me, he gonna love me.
And so, Mr. Patterson, I have to ask you, how do you feel knowing that your son is calling another man daddy too?
To be honest, I used to think about it hard back in the days, but it's her mess. She gotta clean it up. That's what we're here for today,
It's all of your mess.
Yeah.
Because if you're not the father, this 4-year-old young boy has your name.
Hold your breath now, paternity folks, because the DNA test results are ready to be revealed. Tension was escalating, emotions were running high, and the truth was about to hit like a plot twist. Who's the real baby daddy? Let's see.
The biological father is Mr. Sigler. You are DJ's biological father. What do you feel right now?
Hurt. Could have been avoided.
It could have been avoided.
I love that little boy right there. I know he's gonna be happy. You bring him out right now, he's gonna run straight to me.
The doubts start to troll in and all hell starts to break loose. This frantic dad wants answers to the paternity puzzle that's been digging holes in his mind. Is he gonna get the answers he's looking for? Well, let's find out, shall we? It's about to be another bumpy ride of baby daddy drama.
Mr. Pickett, you claim that when your son turned 3, the defendant, your wife, admitted to you that you may not be his biological father. You have petitioned the court for a paternity test, seeking a definitive answer today with hopes that your son is biologically yours.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Pickett and Ms. Pickett sure do look like the cute couples we expect them to be, but hold up, there's more to see than meets the eye. These two have been caught up in so much baby drama. Guess what, people? They're even separated. Must have been one hell of a ride for these two.
Gambling. Now let the court clarify, you two are separated. right now. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so Mr. Pickett, why are you so sure you are not Patrick's father?
I took an extended vacation, let's call it, right? And during that vacation, you know, we had separated.
Don't forget, these two have been separated for a while. Mr. Pickett takes a vacation for work purposes, at least so he claims. He gets back from his vacation and pays a visit to Ms. Pickett to check on their son. That's when things start to get a little tricky. Trust me, you aren't ready for the mystery that's about to unfold.
So I asked my son, I said, who is that guy over there that be's at the house with your mom? And my son, he's like 5 years old. He's a little kid. He says, I think that's my mom's boyfriend. I'm like, for real? So I ask her, she denies it. Now, I hate these extended vacations, Your Honor. I took another one, mind you.
Can't stand him.
Can't stand it. Now, this extended vacation,
Mr. Pickett, with the Mr. Innocent role, continues to explain his side of the story, and for some reason, it just doesn't make any sense. It's so confusing that Judge Lauren tells him to back it up. The things that popped out of his mouth were totally mind-blowing.
Wait, no, I don't feel you. Back it up.
I'm gonna back it up.
Say it again.
Her friend was dating my friend. He told me that the other guy that was there was for Shanae. So
it was one of those type things.
it was one of those type of things. Now this extended vacation is over. I'm back again. I'm playing daddy. I have no problem with playing daddy. I love my kids. That's why I'm here today. I love these little guys. Let's just speed it up just a little bit.
After being apart for God knows how long, they decide to give it another try and get back together. Yup, we all know where that's leading. Of course, things seem to be okay at first, but soon after it all turns into wildfire. Things spiral out of control, and trust me when I tell you, it's worse than you can imagine.
In the back of my mind, I wish I could blow this little thought out.
So you're back together?
We back. It's cool. Swimming pools on the side of the house, everything's good.
Okay.
So I ask her. She denies. I ask her, she denies.
What do you ask her?
I'm asking her, is these my kids? Is this my son? Have you been cheating? You know, I love you. I quit cheating. And you can ask the girls, they be like, man, I'm going home.
The little mysteries start to find their way out of the little corners, and things start to take an unexpected turn. Mr. Pickett finds out that his wife was getting intimate with another guy just before his kid was born. Oops! Things are about to get real juicy, guys. I can bet on it.
If you're a real man, you will take the blame of your family being in any kind of disaster or anything like that.
So, let me recap your doubts. She admitted to an affair, number one.
Right.
While you were gone, you had no idea what she was doing. You know there might have been something going on.
Your Honor,
and then she admitted to it.
I called on that phone.
This guy had to be the most dramatic man to ever walk the planet Earth. At every single junction of his narration, there was always a hilarious reaction from him. Even Judge Lauren couldn't hide her amusement. Now hold up, all that laughter was about to turn into a real hot mess.
I went away on vacation, I let my family down. I left you out here.
Right.
You made some mistakes, so in the end, I'm gonna forgive you.
Yes.
That's what you were saying to her.
It's over. I'm gonna let it go.
And I'm gonna let it go, and we're gonna try to put this marriage back together.
Based on the fact that I wanna be this little dude's, his son, his father, his son. Because when I'm old and I need him, he'll be there for me.
Now, Ms. Pickett wasn't having her best day in court, trust me. You could read it off her face that she couldn't wait for the ground to open up and just swallow her. But come on, she cheated. I mean, it's only right that she felt that way. But is Mr. Pickett in a forgiving mood? I strongly doubt that.
So, what do you have to add to this? Do you believe what Mr. Pickett is saying, that he's a forgiving man, he's made mistakes?
No. First of all, Brandon never forgave her for anything she's done. He loves his kids dearly. He wants to be with them all the time. He has them now, but he's never forgiven her. He's never given her a chance for anything. Like, she can't work, she can't social with people, she can't do nothing.
You saying he's controlling?
He's very controlling.
Now, they got into another argument about the process of trying to rebuild their family. The only issue now was Mr. Pickett was still sleeping around with other women. How on earth were they going to make it work if he was doing that?
How does cheating or sleeping with other women, if you don't consider it cheating,
If she not wanting to be with me,
rebuild the marriage?
If like you asked are you guys separated? Yes, we both said. I don't want to be alone. Who does? If we're not in agreement that we want to be lovers and friends, and you want to let your sister is talking more than you control your life, then I have to find somebody else that's going to love me and my children, because I'm here for love of family.
So because she's speaking up for me.
Well, the suspense is finally over, and the hassle of who the dad of their child is about to be revealed. It's been a bumpy and funny ride with Mr. Pickett and Ms. Pickett. All eyes are on the judge as she unleashes the truth. Get ready, paternity folks.
Mr. Pickett, you are his father.
Oh, yeah. Look, I got something for you. Hold on. See, it's straight up. It's straight up.
Now you were about to get tackled go by Jerome.
We might infer that people's motives for thinking what they say are valid. And let us just focus on the idea of why the defendant, Miss Lever, believes that Mr. Brown is not the biological father.
You slept with another man.
I slept with my ex. My ex and I, we were intimate at the hospital during that time.
At the hospital?
This is distressing. Although Judge Lauren just brought up something that we've all been pondering, Mr. Brown also asserts that they had intercourse on the same dates. How is sexual activity performed in a busy hospital?
How do you have sex in a busy hospital?
It occurred. I mean, during that time, we were both dealing with a situation that was very detrimental, and during that time, we basically bonded. And
by telling Mr. Brown right on that Jira is not his daughter, Miss Lever hoped to clear up any confusion. Jira is not the only child in doubt, though. Let's take a sneak peek into this developing twist.
Even when we broke up, Your Honor, we were still intimate.
Mr. Brown, do you believe you are Genesis' biological father?
No, I do not.
Oh, you do not believe?
No, I do not, Your Honor. Genesis was conceived, Your Honor. Miss Lever was involved with another individual that I saw with my eyes personally.
Miss Lever asserted that Mr. Brown is financially weak and that he is only here playing daddy because she has nowhere else to go. Calling him manipulative, she vented all out in front of the courtroom.
Hurts
I
my
am
children.
miserable as hell. 8 years. I'm tired of this.
When I left, Your Honor,
You go.
when I left the first time, Your Honor, there's a big difference in being a father
But wait,
outside of the house and being in the house.
No, there is. But you can also have your own house and have your children in your own house.
Say that again, Your Honor.
But screaming and yelling won't solve anything. This broken relationship was at the mercy of the DNA envelope. They both were sure of what they had to say, and the truth was just seconds away. Let's see what fate the results hold.
In the case of Brown versus Lever, as it pertains to Jira Lever, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Brown, you are not the father.
How would you feel if the man you've always believed to be your biological father came out and denied it? Miss Cheryl Reubens was standing in front of Judge Lake with her other two siblings, demanding her alleged father set the record straight once and for all.
When did the defendant start denying he was your father?
He always denied me.
And how did you feel about it?
I didn't like it at all because that was my little sister.
Mr. Davis, is this true?
Yes, it is.
It is?
It is.
It is simply unacceptable to take your frustration with the mother out on the children. But in Mr. Davis's defense, the mother was too fast to be trusted. And this comment made siblings go ballistic mid-trail. It was like no side was ready to go easy on each other.
You were her father in particular.
Not necessarily her.
All the children?
You're correct.
Did you express this concern to her?
No, I didn't express it to her.
You just always kept it to yourself?
I kept it to myself.
However, when the Reubens interpret a question posed by the judge, Mr. Big Daddy also loses his temper. Come on, people, you are in the courtroom, not your backyard. As the saying goes, a leopard doesn't change its spots. To this act, the judge had to do some schooling, which took about a minute.
Were you talking to me?
I was talking to you.
Then shut up.
Now no.
You shut up.
Mr. Davis, first of all, I control this courtroom. Now you can take it to the street and you'll be out on the street, because we're not gonna act a fool in here.
Well said, Lauren. Anyways, after this, Daddy goes on claiming that he wasn't an angel himself and was also sniffing caves. Yet both the parents seesaw back and forth, and their swindling and commitment issues had destroyed 3 innocent lives.
Right, after my first child, like I said, when I met her, and she had 3 kids before I met her.
That has nothing to do with what's going on now.
While we was having a relationship, I don't believe I believe the judge was talking to me.
Why make broken promises then?
He claims it's out of goodwill, but it has to stand on its bottom like every tub does. Mr. Davis was questioned by Judge Lauren over his worries regarding either his inheritance from his illness or the bill for child support. He responded by sounding something like this.
The DNA test and wanting to know whether or not you're really their father, is this really about the illnesses, or is this about this huge child support debt?
It is both. It is both. Regardless of what they want to say, and neither one outweighs the other.
The DNA result was all that mattered to the broken family, because no one was willing to take any leniency from one another. The only truth is what binds people when love and respect are not present. Let's get right to it.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Davis, are her father.
You already knew that. You already knew that.
What up? Child support, here I come.
I don't worry about it, come with it.
Become a man and take responsibility for yourself, or prepare to pay $5,000. Miss Pooyer filed a lawsuit against her son, Mr. Pooyer, for unpaid rent and utilities, but she needs Judge Lauren for help talking some sense into the spoiled brat.
My son, he's lazy, not want to do anything. not want to help me or help me pay any bills.
You know what I'm saying? And then she comes at me with this, I'm lazy, but you're the same person who'll get off the train on your way home and walk past 5 stores and come upstairs and go, you go to the store and buy me a soda and a bag of chips. Didn't you just walk past the store?
So the Big G's mama is doing all the hustling to put food on the table. Mr. Puyer is lucky his mama got no voice, or else she'd be screaming at him. Furthermore, admitting that her attitude might be challenging, the mama has some serious issues. But listen to what Mr. Lazybones has to say.
I'm gonna sit back. And it got to a point where I started to feel a way about certain little things, such as I'm at home and I'm watching television and you walk in the house. And now you don't want to watch what I'm watching, so I have to stop everything I'm doing and focus on what you want to watch on television.
Yeah, you do.
What a drag, after admitting in court that she had expelled her son from the nest. And it had been 3 years since they last spoke. Miss Puyer passionately expressed to the judge her desire for her child to have the greatest life possible. Let's have a peek at how it went.
Mom, I didn't get paid this, that, the other, but yet still, you going in there to find your little roll up and your little, to do your business.
You say he did not contribute. You say you have cable bills.
I have cable bill, I have rent.
Did you bring that to the court today?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
If the team-up between Miss Puyer and Judge Lauren wasn't enough for Mr. Lazybones, there is another teacher in the picture that has her side of the story when it comes to Mr. Puyer.
My main concern, the reason why I'm here, is because he's going out smoking marijuana.
The worst thing I've ever done was smoke weed and hop a turnstile when I was 17. Leave it alone, let it die already.
Okay.
Let it die. I don't understand.
Man, give me a break. Aren't those classic concerns of black parents? Smoking marijuana, hopping turnstiles, and the cherry on top, a girlfriend whom they think is a bad influence. But wait, more facts come to light after the lip-pierced girlfriend is presented in the courtroom.
Y'all make $150 a week, from what I gather. You live with your mother?
Yes.
You pay your mother?
Yes.
He pays your mother?
Yes.
Oh!
So why he can't pay her?
Did you just state to this court that you're working and you are paying her mother?
At this point, so in exchange for her residence, he pays his girlfriend's mother. He had the opportunity to help his mother in some way. Simply tragic that. He needed some clarification on a few topics, which Judge Lauren had to provide him.
You a grown man living like a kid. You should have been out a long time ago. You wouldn't have been able to live in my house growing up if you didn't keep a steady job. Now, what is very interesting to this court, and I see to your family as well, when you leave the nest, suddenly you begin to live up to your potential.
With all arguments out on the table, it was time for Judge Lauren to settle the score between mother and son as enough schooling was done. We had to come to the conclusive part because these people be going nowhere with their feud.
Hey, remember, I want you to do something. May I hug him, please?
You absolutely can.
Do you remember it? This is what I most remember. Give me some nose.
Miss Puyer, with that said, what is your decision?
I'll let this one ride.
I thought so. I'll do the honors for you.
As the sole provider for her 2-year-old daughter, Mary, Miss Hubbard comes to paternity court furious and seeks to prove the defendant, Mr. Watson, is the biological father. With good old reality TV drama, the trial begins on this note.
So if you say he knew about her, has he been helping you?
No, ma'am. No, he hasn't contributed to anything. He hasn't done anything for her. Nothing.
You're doing this by yourself?
Yes, ma'am. I'm taking care of my 5 children and my disabled mother by myself.
Ms. Hubbard was so frustrated by the fact that she confessed to even making the defendant responsible for not showing empathy regarding the ongoing situation. However, she claimed that for 2 years, Mr. Watson didn't even attempt to provide for young America. She even sold his outfit for $100 to help with the child's expenses.
Have you done anything for this child?
No, ma'am, I haven't done anything for the child.
You admit you've done nothing?
Yes, ma'am.
Why is that, sir?
Because I don't think this is my baby.
You don't?
It is not my baby, because she lied.
But your family
You had sex with Miss Hubbard,
But your family members
Right, but she
Did
lied.
you use protection?
No, ma'am.
Oh boy. Nevertheless, why wasn't Mr. Watson focused? What caused all the uncertainties in his mind about the child? Apart from having to experience animosity from Miss Hubbard, he brought a calendar he had created with information on her pregnancy before the court. Here is how it all started.
But you would have been about ready to have the baby.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's lying. I told him, when I knew for sure that I was pregnant in March, that's when I told him that I was pregnant.
Did she say she was pregnant in March?
She told me that she was pregnant. She was 3 months pregnant. I was like, oh, okay, so I know she probably be pregnant because we did have unprotected sex, so I rode with it.
So now messing with the convincing dates is equivalent to messing with your child's future? Mr. Watson further justified the doubts by presenting the court with her diary in which Miss Provider has been collecting condom wrappers from her previous sexual encounters. Damn, that's nasty.
I flipped to another page, it had a condom pack on it. And explaining the dude that she had sex with, how his sex was and everything. Okay, I flipped to another page, flipped to another, was another condom pack right there. So I'm like,
on the diary?
Right.
Okay, let me flip through. Oh, and some of the pages stuck together. I'm done with it.
I ain't touching that ever, but never mind. Cutting to the chase, all of the other family members, Miss Hubbard said, are convinced it is his child, but he denies it. She also wants a DNA test to force him to step up and support his daughter.
He keeping her away. He don't even want her around his other kids. He don't even claim her. Sometimes he claim her on Facebook, then he get mad, that ain't his baby, then he make a show about it. But that's his child.
Your Honor,
Now only one thing was left, to restore the trust between this couple. And yes, that's right, the DNA results. So why wait? Judge Lauren is efficient when it comes to calling the shots. Here is how it went.
Mr. Watson, you are Amaria's father.
Deadbeat. Like I told you. Nope. I'm sorry.
In this paternity dilemma, Mr. Matlock came home from a trip to find his girlfriend pregnant, whereas Miss Monroe admits she invited her ex to stay over when he was away. Despite knowing this, Mr. Matlock forgave the woman, but since now there is a child in the mix, his love has changed.
She moved her ex into our home.
In a week?
In 1 week, Your Honor.
At what point do you find out that she's moved another man into the house?
From her.
Yeah, I told you. At least I was honest.
Miss
At least I was honest.
In her defense, Miss Monroe claimed that while he was gone, she kept calling and Mr. Matlock never replied to her. Hence, she thought he's not coming back. Oh, God. That isn't how a relationship works, lady.
So I'm gonna move somebody into the house.
Sunday
Who'd you
to
move in?
Saturday,
One of my exes.
One of your exes. Now, you didn't decide just to date him. You decided to actually move him right on in.
He wasn't.
All right, and so I assume there was a sexual relationship going on at this time as well.
Yes.
Wait, what? She simply said that he never called, didn't she? This woman, however, contradicted herself. In addition, Mr. Plaintiff should clarify how he has known her since he was a little boy. Hence, he planned to forget everything and move on. But fate had stored some twists and turns for him.
I get a phone call from my sister. What's up?
You ain't who
May
you
pregnant.
pretended to be.
Whoa, what you mean May pregnant? I just talked to her on the phone.
I told you that.
You didn't tell me that. You told me that after I talked to my sister and you told my sister that you were pregnant, that she was pregnant. I get back, we sit down, we have the discussion. I asked her point blank, am I the father of the child? Who's the baby daddy?
Honest, right?
She looked at me and
I
said,
was honest.
you're not the father. Real talk.
Sounds really messy. Why hide the pregnancy, Miss Monroe? Anyways, she did confess to Mr. Matlock that it's his baby, but that's also another story. And Mr. Matlock is all in with his dates.
Was the last week in August that we see here in green. And you claim that her ex was intimate with her during the beginning
weeks
of
before
August, which is indicated in yellow. And that's the month of conception.
You don't move
but
nobody in within a
either
week.
way,
It wasn't a week, it was a month.
it's easy to see through your visual that this could be.
Well, amidst all the drama happening on deciding the paternity of the child, Mr. Matlock wasn't a deadbeat, and he kept on paying the child support. This was all happening while he was unsure, and the baby mama seems to not even appreciate that.
I missed my court date and I was a father by default. I have evidence to prove that, Your Honor.
The bottom line is when that court date came up, Mr. Matlock, you're saying you never got notice of when your court date was. So you didn't show you weren't there.
I was at work.
By default,
I am the father.
You were determined to be the father.
I am the father.
Whoa, becoming the father by default, and the mother acting all shady. Well, it was time for Judge Lauren to commence the action, set things straight manually, so she pulled the curtain on the mystery by calling in for results.
When it comes to 5-year-old Kenya Monroe, Mr. Matlock, you are not.
I knew it! Don't find your baby daddy. Put somebody else on child support. I want my money back. I want my money back. I told you I wasn't the father of that child.
Ms. Chappelle is 100% convinced that Mr. Todd is the biological father of her daughter, Walisha. She's here to get that child support money, honey, but Mr. Todd is not having it. He's claiming that Walisha is not his daughter and that Ms. Chappelle is just trying to trap him.
Ms. Chappelle, you say the defendant, Mr. Todd, is without a doubt your daughter Walisia's biological father. You say the only reason he denies her is because his fiancée, Ms. Collins, doesn't want him in your life.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, you're suing Mr. Todd for $2,475 for babysitting expenses and for lost wages.
Yes, ma'am.
You've got that right. Ms. Chappelle isn't holding back, and she's here with receipts. Literally, she's asking for $24,075 for babysitting expenses and lost wages. She claims Mr. Todd used to babysit for her, but then stopped, leaving her in a lurch. She even had to quit her job because she couldn't afford childcare.
So, Ms. Chappelle, why do you feel you're owed $2,475 for these expenses?
Because I had a job, Your Honor, and he was babysitting the baby for me. And after he didn't babysit anymore, I had to start paying $75 a week for babysitting fees and lost wages, and I didn't have a babysitter, and I couldn't keep up with the babysitting fee.
But hold up, Mr. Todd is coming in hot with his defense, saying he never babysat Walisha, claiming she's just trying to get back at him because his fiancée, Ms. Collins, doesn't want her in his life.
If you were having sex and she got pregnant, were you using protection every time?
No. The time when we met, I was pregnant.
But
we never used.
when we met, she was pregnant.
We never used. But he accepted me with
But the other baby, Walisha.
someone else's
All
baby.
right. Why is it you doubt that Walisha is your child?
Because at the time, she was messing around with other guys.
Whoa, things are getting heated in the courtroom as Ms. Chappelle and Mr. Todd go back and forth about their past relationship. They were just having a casual fling, but now it's turned into a full-blown paternity battle.
That you were having sex with other people in addition to Mr. Todd during the window of conception?
No, Your Honor.
You're a liar.
She was not even in the picture, Your Honor, so she has nothing to do with this.
What
We was together
picture that
here.
was?
2011, I was pregnant with someone else, baby. Our baby was already here when they met, Your Honor.
All right.
Our babies were here before she
Listen.
came in the
All right. All right.
Oh, it's getting messy now. Ms. Collins, Mr. Todd's fiancée, isn't here to play games. She's countersuing for $370 for car windows that she claims Ms. Chappelle busted out in a fit of rage. The tension is at a record high in this courtroom showdown.
Fourth season, we was in 2500 Central Street. She came where I was at. That's how her window got bugged.
Mr. Todd.
She came at me with a lot of emotion, like we was about to fight. We did get into an altercation.
Hold on.
y'all.
When she came at you with this emotion, was she outside of the car?
Yes, yes, ma'am. That's how her window got busted, and she pulled up where I was at in the apartments where I hang at my cousin's house.
That's what rage does. Ms. Collins presents the evidence of the damaged car windows. She's got police reports and receipts to back up her claim. Ms. Chappelle is not denying it. She straight up admits to busting those windows out. Things are going from bad to worse in this case.
That I was pregnant, and he was like, "Oh, this your third child, whatever." Well, he was like, "Our child would be the prettiest child, whatever, whatever." And I was like, "Okay, it's cool. We're gonna have our baby." And we came to agreement that he would be there for her. And when I had her at the hospital, him, his brothers, all of them came
to the hospital.
Did you go to the hospital, Mr. Todd?
Yes, I went to the hospital. Yes, ma'am.
As Judge Lake tries to make sense of the chaos in the courtroom, the truth about Walisia's paternity hangs in the balance. Will Mr. Todd step up and take responsibility, or will Ms. Chappelle be left high and dry? Let's find out.
Mr. Todd, you are not the father. And you're smiling, Miss Chappelle?
Yes, because at the end of the day,
need to
this
find
is
a
his
pretty
child.
little girl.
What they did, they say, I ain't having sex with no one else you want.
It's hard to sympathize with cheaters, and if you don't know why, you're about to find out. Ms. Morris is here to prove that Mr. Byrom is the father of her 1-month-old son, Jackson. But hold on, things take a spicy turn when Mr. Byrom drops the bomb that Ms. Morris admitted to cheating on him.
Ms. Morris, you've petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove that the defendant is the father of your 1-month-old son, Jackson. You hope these results will save your family because you have 2 other kids together. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Byrom, you say the plaintiff admitted to sleeping with another man, and when the results prove you are not Jackson's father, you plan to leave for good.
Yes, I do.
Oh boy, it's getting heated in here. Mr. Byrom reveals that he caught Ms. Morris red-handed with his friend, who was hiding in the attic of her grandma's house.
Relationship is based on this paternity test right here.
Explain.
This is the second time she's done this to me since we've been together. This isn't just the first time that she's cheated on me. This is the second time. And I've been nothing but faithful and loving to her since day one.
Second time, it happened once.
Ms. Morris, did you cheat on him?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now you're here saying he is the father of your 1-month-old child, even though you say I cheated.
Ms. Morris tries to justify her actions by saying they were on a break for a month, but Mr. Byrom ain't buying it. He claims that she was seeing his friend every day, morning and night. But was she?
She was over there with the kids. I seen him on the couch at first through the window. And then that's when I started banging on the doors and the windows. And then I go in the house. He's hiding up in the attic of her grandma's house.
Hiding in the attic?
Yes, ma'am. Hiding in the attic up in her grandma's house. I told him, you gotta...
How did you find him in the attic?
I started searching the house because I had a feeling that they were together.
You heard that right, there's more. Mr. Byrom drops another bombshell, revealing that Ms. Morris was sending pictures of the baby to his friend's mom, hinting that he could be the father. The audacity.
Oh, so you slept with the other guy September 25th?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah.
And so you two have 2 other children together.
Yes, Your Honor.
And now this family is in jeopardy because you admit you slept with his friend and him within 2 days.
Yes, sure.
It wasn't just that one time she's saying. She was sleeping with him every day.
If it wasn't obvious before, it's now clear that this family is hanging by a thread. Ms. Morris desperately wants to salvage their relationship for the sake of their children, while Mr. Byrom is ready to walk away if he's not the father of little Jackson. The stakes couldn't be higher.
Then why aren't
Have you
you
taken
my kid if you're still
Have you taken
being...
Jackson to see her or the other potential father?
No, the other potential father is actually incarcerated right now, or else he would be here too.
Dude's in prison. I've been taking care of her and both of the kids. Don't get me wrong, her grandma helps us out with diapers and stuff, but I've been taking care of her and our kids.
Talk about a truth bomb. Ms. Morris admits to cheating. Mr. Byrom feels betrayed, and the fate of their family hangs in the balance. Will the DNA test reveal the paternity of baby Jackson, or will this family be torn apart forever?
Mr. Byrom, you are the father.
Yes. Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. That really helped me out a lot.
Ever seen a relationship so broken that you wonder how it still exists? Well, there's a first time for everything. Meet Mr. Rash, who's here seeking paternity tests for his 2 children. He's convinced his wife, Ms. Fuentes, has been cheating on him left and right. We're talking about leaving him for another man, sleeping with 5 brothers from the same family, and even getting another guy's name tattooed on her body.
Mr. Rash, you are here today seeking the results of paternity tests for your 2 children. You claim your wife, Ms. Fuentes, has cheated on you repeatedly. You say she once left you for another man, slept with 5 brothers from the same family, and even had the name of another guy tattooed on her body.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, we might need some time to process all of that. Ms. Fuentes doesn't deny her past infidelities, but claims Mr. Rash was never really her type. She admits she's cheated, but says he knew about her past when they got together. It's a messy situation, folks.
Now, Ms. Fuentes, you don't deny you've cheated over the years, but you claim your husband was never really your type.
Correct.
And though you love him, you've never really been in love with him.
Yes, ma'am.
Today, you've also brought another man to court who is waiting outside, who you believe could also be the father of one of your children.
Yes, ma'am.
Here's where it gets even juicier. Ms. Fuentes brings another man to court who she believes could be the father of one of her children. Oh, and in case you forgot, we're just getting started.
Because he knew my issues, that I did sleep around, and that this family meant a lot to me, whether or not I slept with her 5 sons or not.
It doesn't even matter.
That's my fault, and I will admit that. And
You shouldn't even be over there like that. You should be spending time with your family that you have, that you married, with us, the kids,
But who
me.
wants to be with somebody that when it's not the now fighting?
Mr. Rash lays it all out. He found incriminating text messages on Ms. Fuentes' phone that revealed her cheating ways. The evidence is stacking up against her, and he's not holding back. But Ms. Fuentes tries to defend herself, saying she was honest about her past, and that Mr. Rash should have known what he was getting into.
About what me and him is going to do.
You have another man's
he does not take the
tattooed to
best
your body.
Yes, because but you knew from the beginning that I was never in love with you. That I was
You
having
never was
issues
in love
And I didn't want to be with
all
you.
these lies,
I tried to make it work. I tried to make it work.
This is what I don't get. You stand here, you talk about Mr. Rash, he's this, he's that, he's too soft. You married him, though.
I did because I loved him at one point in time.
Yikes. The back and forth between Mr. Rash and Ms. Fuentes is heating up. He feels betrayed. She feels misunderstood. We learn that Ms. Fuentes had a rocky relationship with Mr. Rash, to say the least. She admits to cheating, but she also claims that he wasn't the perfect partner either.
Sleeping with her.
Correct, but she says 5 days in a 5-day radius, but I don't believe that either.
She never told me once that this could be a possibility. I didn't find out until like almost time that my other daughter came about that could have been a possibility.
We understand.
This is
All right, we're gonna have the results in a moment. You may take a seat, thank you so much.
Mr. Rash drops a bombshell. He took their children for 6 months because he felt Ms. Fuentes wasn't being a good mother. Despite all the doubts and the drama, Mr. Rash insists he's been there for the children since day one. He's got their names tattooed on his arms and the commitment is real, but the doubts are always lingering.
The issue of denying paternity. Do you feel like the children in question are yours?
I do feel like that because of the multiple cheating on me and whatnot.
Being that she was born within the marriage, you were presumed to be her father. There's a presumption of paternity. You signed
That's the reason why I married her, because I thought she was pregnant with my child.
As the case reaches its climax, emotions are running high. Ms. Fuentes is trying to defend her actions. Mr. Rash is standing his ground, and the truth is hanging in the balance. It's a showdown of epic proportions, and we're about to get some answers.
Mr. Judd, you are the father.
Oh my God. I'll
Why are
never
you
forgive
crying?
you for that. I'll never forgive you for that. Never.
She deserves to know.
No,
It
she
ain't about
don't
being
deserve
you.
to know.
Yes, she does.
You lied to her and you lied to me. I'll never forgive you.
So, Miss Taylor is convinced that Mr. Brown is the father of her 3-month-old daughter, Melanie. She claims he swept her off her feet and got her pregnant. But Mr. Brown, on the other hand, thinks she just had a bad case of baby fever.
Ms. Taylor, you say Mr. Brown is an older man who swept you off your feet and got you pregnant. You're here today to prove to Mr. Brown that he is the father of your 3-month-old daughter, Melanie Brown.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Brown, you say Ms. Taylor is obsessed with children and has baby fever.
Yes.
And you believe she may have already been pregnant by another man.
Miss Taylor is asking Mr. Brown to step up and take responsibility for their child, but all he did was buy 2 packs of cheap diapers. And guess what? Those diapers gave poor little Melanie a nasty diaper rash. Yikes. And Mr. Brown's excuse only made things worse.
Later, she got a diaper rash and I had to take my baby to the hospital. And I called him to tell him that she got a diaper rash. He said, so what I supposed to do? That ain't my baby.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
So you bought some cheap diapers because you didn't think it was your baby?
Yes, I mean, it was better than nothing, I thought, probably. Because I didn't really know whether it was my baby or not, so I can't take care of somebody else's baby.
The back and forth between Miss Taylor and Mr. Brown is getting intense. She's claiming he's the father, and he's throwing shade, saying she was already pregnant when they hooked up.
Continue, Miss Taylor.
So I go back to his place and we got into it. Like we had sex or whatever.
She kept asking me about, like, hey, do you like babies?
No, I was not, Your Honor. We didn't even
I'm like,
talk.
I like babies. This is my first time meeting her. She talking about, oh, do you like babies? Or how do you feel about babies? I'm thinking that she was already pregnant.
And yet you still went ahead and had sex with her.
Yes.
How did these two even meet? They can't seem to get along for more than a minute. Miss Taylor was just 18 when she met Mr. Brown, who was 32 at the time. Bombastic side-eye, Mr. Brown. They hit it off at a club, and things escalated quickly from there.
Obviously she was. At this point, what reaction did you get from him? Was he happy?
He said, we only had 3 times. I woke home today, my baby, you need to go
So
find
he
your baby
immediately
daddy.
denied the baby?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because
she
Mr.
needs to
Brown,
find, okay, she needs to find her baby daddy.
You are my baby daddy.
I started doing some research on her, and I found some colored pictures of her.
What is this, sir?
And she portrayed herself to be such a good girl.
And these are pictures of what?
Of her, you know, around the time that she got pregnant.
So Mr. Brown is convinced that Miss Taylor was already pregnant when they got together. He even mentioned that she kept asking him about babies, making him suspicious. But hey, if you had doubts, why go ahead and do the deed, right?
He only came around like 3 times when he wanted to have sex.
Is he in the delivery room with you?
He came after I had the baby and he held the baby. I have a picture of him
We
holding
only
the
had
baby.
sex once when she was pregnant anyway.
I have a picture of him
Let me
holding the
see
baby.
this evidence,
and then
Schrull.
he said for 5 minutes, then he said he was going to smoke a cigarette and he never came back, Your Honor.
Your nerves were shot.
because I didn't feel a bond.
What a bummer. Miss Taylor thought she found a mature man in Mr. Brown, but it turns out he was just like the rest. She was looking for a father figure, and Mr. Brown wasn't up for the role. The age-old story of a young girl falling for a much older man takes center stage yet again. Will the DNA test set the record straight, or will this case end in even more chaos?
Mr. Brown, you are the father.
I told you. Can I have that paper, Your Honor?
Well, now I can hold her again.
That is so sad. That is so sad.
I'll do something now, though.
Mr. Brown has admitted that he has given $8 of those total expenses.
So, we meet Mr. Lee and Miss Lee, a couple who fell in love at first sight. They got engaged after just 1 week. But things took a turn when Miss Lee admitted to cheating on Mr. Lee with a guy who she claimed looked like Bon Jovi. Bon Jovi, really.
Mr. Lee, you say your wife, Ms. Lee, conceived a child after cheating numerous times during your marriage.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, you claim your family disowned you because of her infidelity, and now your marriage is on the brink of divorce.
Yes, Your Honor.
You petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove that you are not the father of Ms. Lee's 11-month-old daughter, Carolyn Lee.
Mr. Lee's family disowned him because of Miss Lee's infidelity, and now their marriage is hanging by a thread. Miss Lee is convinced that Mr. Lee is the father of her 11-month-old daughter, Carolyn, but Mr. Lee has his doubts. Here's why.
Fell in love at first sight. We started talking that night. I heard him speaking a little bit of Spanish, and we started making out the whole night. We kissed heavily that whole night. We did not have sex, though. We just made out. The next morning, we exchanged numbers that night. We actually had to exchange our names as well because we made out the whole night, didn't even remember each other's names.
Mr. Lee, you knew she was the one, too?
Yes, Your Honor.
Whoa, that's one hell of a start. Miss Lee spills the beans on how she met the Bon Jovi lookalike. She went to a hotel party to meet someone else, but once she laid her eyes on the Bon Jovi doppelganger, it was love at first sight. They made out all night, but apparently, they didn't go all the way. The next day, they exchanged numbers, and the rest is history.
She has...
The following week?
Yeah, well, she said he looked like Bon Jovi. I said he looks more like the Wolfman. The dude
Ms. Lee?
Caught.
You cheated?
I have
a
a celebrity
week
obsession.
later?
Yes, I have a celebrity obsession in this guy that he looked like Bon Jovi. He's just jealous because
the man lived
cheated on him.
caught and played a guitar.
But wait a minute, you just said you were in love with Mr. Lee.
But hold up, things take a wild turn when Mr. Lee reveals that Miss Lee cheated on him just a week after they got engaged. And get this, she was caught naked in the Bon Jovi lookalike's trailer. Oh, the drama. Miss Lee tries to explain it away, saying she was just hanging out with him and his sister. Yeah, right. Something was hanging out for sure.
Instead, they told me, well, you know, we kind of caught her cheating on you.
What did they tell you
They told me that they found her naked in his trailer with him.
Oh, but I wasn't cheating that day. I was just hanging out with him and his sister. I do admit to cheating twice with this guy, but it was not that time. No, this was after I'd already cheated. I wasn't cheating anymore.
Oh, so then that was just post.
Mr. Lee's family spills the tea to him about Miss Lee's cheating ways, and he's left heartbroken. He thought she was the one, but turns out she was playing him. Miss Lee admits to cheating twice with the same guy, but claims that the incident in the trailer wasn't cheating. Well then, what was it?
Month into the pregnancy.
1 week into the pregnancy. And then the timeline started jumping.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. 1 week into the pregnancy, she tells you she cheated on you?
That is correct, yes.
For the third time.
Where was I during this conversation?
Oh, you
I mean, serious.
You say it didn't happen?
No, the last time I cheated was in Montana when I was told he was cheating on me with a coworker.
The tension between Mr. Lee and Miss Lee is palpable as they recount their rocky relationship. Miss Lee's celebrity obsession with the Bon Jovi lookalike led her down a path of infidelity, and Mr. Lee's trust in her was shattered.
And you say you didn't tell him that?
No.
Well, now, that's not a conversation you forget. So, Mr. Lee, what did she sit you down? She told you on the phone? She told you where?
Told me after we left the OBGYN. And then she's like, well, you may not be the father.
And then what did you say?
I said, well, we'll just kind of ride it out and see what's going to happen here. Because, I mean, there's still a chance I could have been the father.
There's no doubt about it. Both Mr. Lee and Miss Lee are hurting. Miss Lee's actions have caused irreparable damage to their relationship, and Mr. Lee is left questioning everything he thought he knew about their love story. Will the DNA test bring closure to this messy situation, or will it push them further apart? It's time for the big reveal.
Mr. Lee, you are Carolyn's father.
Yes, I told you. I told you. I tried to tell him I've been faithful to him. I made some mistakes. I did, but I've been doing a lot better.
You have to understand something. There are good parents, and there are the absolute worst parents. In this case, Ms. Phillips believed that the defendant's deceased son was the father of her child. After the death of her lover, baby daddy's mom changed her story and said, there's no way the child could belong to her son. She started her story like this.
Ms. Phillips, you claim that you are certain the defendant's deceased son, Philip Daniels, is the father of your 3-month-old daughter, a miracle phenomenal Daniels. You say it wasn't until after his tragic passing that Ms. Williamson began to deny her grandchild.
My daughter needs the death benefits of her father, and she
What
needs
death
help.
benefits? There's no death benefits. He didn't have a job.
Definitely looks like these two have never bonded over anything. Before they could get to the part where they wanted to rip each other apart, the judge asked Ms. Williamson why she felt her deceased son could not be the father of baby mama's child. Her reply was nothing but out of this world. Trust me.
Why don't you believe Ms. Phillips' daughter is your son's biological child?
Because he said it. He called,
When?
she brought another guy to my house. He answered the phone plenty of times where there was another young man on the phone talking to him.
He was doing the cheating.
Oh, it wasn't committed.
He was going back and forth from.
All right, so what did he tell you about the relationship?
I mean, she was at my house a couple times. She was there or whatever, but he dipped and he dabbed.
From that revelation, there was a lot of cheating between baby mama and baby daddy. But could baby mama be lying about him being the father? Who knows? Ms. Williamson was ready to fight tooth and nail in trying to defend her deceased son. She even remembered an instance where her son told her that the baby could be for another man.
She was like, ain't no guy called my phone. That wasn't no guy, so he went back to the number. She was like, well, I talk to him every now and then.
That man was about 40-some years old. What I'm gonna do with
That
him?
was another lie.
40 years old? You can still make a baby at 40 years old?
Not with him. Not with him, I wasn't. Not at all, you're right. That man was like this tall. What I'm gonna do with a...
Short men make babies too.
What I'm gonna do with him this tall?
Moving on, the judge went on to ask Ms. Williamson if her son was excited when he found out that baby mama was pregnant. As you'd expect, she said hell no. But baby mama rushed to defend herself and said he was more than happy when he found out that she was pregnant with his baby.
And you showed me, that's how I found out, because you
And
showed
I
me the
took it
pregnancy
outside
test.
to him and told him that I was pregnant.
And what was his reaction?
He was happy.
Did the test tell you, or did I tell you that you was pregnant?
He was happy.
You so hilarious.
So, Ms.
You are
Williamson, Ms. Williamson, you say his response is she's claiming she's pregnant by me.
Right. 'cause
That's a
at first he
whole,
didn't
hold
believe
on.
that she
That's
was
a whole,
pregnant.
first he didn't even believe she was pregnant.
No.
What does he say to you?
He told you that he don't believe that it's his child.
Did Ms. Williamson just say baby mama told her son she was intimate with another man? Wow. But hold on. The plot twist in the story is about to set in. As I said, Ms. Williamson was ready to fight to the end of the world to make sure the baby didn't end up belonging to her son. She brought in an exhibit, and here's what it showed.
You never put this up that he wasn't the dead.
What is that, Ms. Williamson?
Now,
let me tell you about
Williamson.
Let me tell you.
Miss Williamson, what is that?
A fake page that they made when
you
I
don't
was
say
first
I made this
pregnant.
page.
Jerome, hand me that paper.
I made this page for real?
Please.
You believe in your heart that I made this page?
If you're one of y'all made
Miss
it, I
Williamson.
believe-
Girl, you...
So wait, this is a post from Risa Phillips.
Do I smell another plot twist coming into the mix? Baby mama sure seems to be throwing some heavy accusations, claiming it was Ms. Williamson who sent the Facebook message. Their back and forth was getting out of hand, and Judge Lowen had to speak some sense into their heads.
That's petty and that's silly because it has nothing to do with a miracle. Nothing. Because she's already here. It has nothing to do with it. And we're already at a point where we have a tragedy.
here
This
for
young
some
man
money that
lost
she's not
his
gonna
life. Your son has lost his life. If this baby is his, if it is, so now you don't care.
She never
did. Say it again.
She never did.
At least one thing is for sure, they don't like each other at all. Now, baby mama claimed when she gave birth to the baby, the brother of her deceased lover looked the baby in the eye and said the baby looked exactly like the baby daddy. But when he was called up to the stand, he changed his story. Here's what he had to say.
And she says you looked at the baby and you said this is my brother's child. Is that in fact true?
No, Your Honor. I don't know if that's my brother's baby, but that's why we're here now to get the answers, because looks is deceiving.
And so at that time, you didn't make a decision as to this is my brother's child or not.
No, because my brother had his own doubts in his head because of the things that he told me and the things that was sent to him, Your Honor.
What was sent to him?
The revelations just keep coming and coming. Right now it was looking like a war between baby mama and the family of her deceased lover. But baby daddy's brother made one thing clear, and that was the fact that if the baby really belonged to his brother, he would step up and be in the child's life. Was Ms. Williamson going to allow that?
If it is his baby, you know, I'm going to be in the baby's life for sure, you know, if Larissa gives me the opportunity to.
All right. What What are your hopes, Miss Phillips?
It ain't no hope. I know it's his baby. It's no hope. I was with this man every day. Like, you can look. He spit her out.
What?
He spit her out.
Like, you some near girl. Look. You look like the same eye, man. My eye might be that step just a little bit. Something.
Well, that definitely answers the question of Ms. Williamson wanting to be in the baby's life, bringing all that drama to a close. The results are in, and the judge is ready to reveal who the child's father is. Here we go.
The percentage of relatedness between A Miracle, Phenomenal, Daniels, and Toya Williamson is 99.8%.
I know exactly who my baby daddy is.
I don't care. I'm not in that baby life.
This was another battle between baby mama and baby daddy's mother. Ms. Whitaker dragged the defendant to court to prove that he was the father of her child. She claimed the only reason the defendant has doubts about her baby is because of his manipulative mother, who wouldn't stay out of their business. She opened her case like this.
Ms. Whitaker, you've summoned Mr. Schrull to court to prove that he is the father of your 2-year-old daughter, Brinley.
Yes, sir.
You say that Mr. Schrull has doubt only because of his conniving and manipulative mother, and you want him to man up and take care of his responsibilities.
Because he's a mama's boy. She has never done anything but come in between our relationship. Even when we were having fights in our relationship, she was always in the middle of it. It was never just me and him, it was me, him, and his mother.
Well, you heard the defendant. All right. He doesn't joke about his mama one bit. As baby mama could recall, their relationship started as a very beautiful one. It was almost like they had been waiting all their lives to be together, at least she claimed. But her story had a few loopholes.
We fell in love from the beginning. We were never separated. We probably spent 3 days apart in the entire almost 3 years we were together. From the time we started dating, our parents let us spend the night together. We were either staying at my house.
Wait. They what?
Yes. They let us stay the night
When you
together.
started dating, your parents let you spend the night together?
Yes.
At each other's homes?
Yes. At one point, we were completely living together.
Talk about bad parenting. This has to be the absolute worst. Letting teenagers be sexually active at a young age? Ew! Moving on, baby mama's story wasn't sounding like the truth. First, she said they were all living together like a happy family. Now, she says, his mother is getting in the way of their relationship. Which one is it?
She was always in the middle of our relationship. She even made the comment one time that I can't wait till you're 18 because I'm gonna beat you. And then when she found out I was pregnant, she said, I guess I can't do it anymore now.
Mr. Schrull, did you know your mother didn't care for Ms. Whitaker?
She cared for her. I don't know where that she didn't care for her comes from, because anytime Miss Whitaker needed to talk to her, she'd come to my mom. She'd call her mama.
So, baby daddy had plans to get married to Ms. Whitaker. They must have really been in love. The big question now is, if they were so in love with each other and had plans of wanting to get married, how did they find themselves in this messy situation? Well, here's the story behind that.
So, let's get to the real details.
What happened? What had happened? Her mom had passed away.
Okay.
And she got put in a foster home, and once she turned 18, she went with family.
I'm sorry to hear that, Ms. Whitaker.
Thank you.
Very sorry.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And so, at that time, you all were separated. You were no longer living together.
I was fed up with it. I was getting constant accusations of cheating, and I never once cheated on her.
Oh, so there was a cheating scandal. Well, that cat is out of the box, and now we know why they didn't get married. But baby mama claimed that wasn't really how the whole thing played out, and there was more to the story.
I found out I was pregnant exactly 1 month after my mother had passed away.
Okay.
I was already in DHR custody when I found out I was pregnant.
All right. So you are dealing with all of that. Then you find out you're pregnant.
Yes, ma'am.
You let him know.
Yes,
At the time you let him know, how did you let him know? Phone call? You saw each other?
My social worker put me in a room and let me call him and tell him I was pregnant. And he was actually very excited.
Baby daddy's mother said that? Now that's wild. Judge Lauren wasn't going to hear something like that and just act ignorant of it. She asked baby daddy's mother to step into the podium and give her side of the story. Well, here's how that little journey went.
Staying together and sleeping together was never okay with me. This started at her house, and I begged her mother, please don't let this happen. It's not happening at my house. Y'all are too young for this kind of relationship. Her mother couldn't do anything with her.
Please don't bring my mother into this, because she's dead and she can't defend herself, and I would very much appreciate it if you kept her out of it.
She cheated 7 different times? At this point, I honestly don't know who to believe. Regardless of the accusations, Ms. Whitaker stood her ground and claimed that they were trying to paint her as a bad person. She admitted to cheating, but claimed it happened in a totally different way.
Well, tell me what happened. Tell the court.
It wasn't something I was proud of, and he's not even a possible factor for the father. I have my conception date right here.
I'd like to see that evidence. Will you hand it to me, please?
I conceived at the beginning of August. I did not sleep with him until the end of August.
So let me understand this. You've prepared a calendar for the court.
Yes, ma'am. I slept with Christian every single night, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day.
I don't remember all.
Wow.
You really can't blame Ms. Whitaker for getting furious. She's fighting both baby daddy and his mother. That can't be easy. Baby daddy also claimed that 4 months into her pregnancy, aside from finding out she cheated, he also found out that there was more than one possible father to the child.
It came out to me after she was pregnant. It came out that there are more than one possibility.
When did this come out?
This came out when she was maybe 3-4 months pregnant.
How did it come out? Who told you that?
She told her.
And that's a load of crap.
Y'all just having sex. Y'all know what you're doing.
Exactly.
You have no clue. Just kids engaging in adult activity. Absolutely no idea of the consequences.
Now, trust me, you guys aren't ready for what you're about to hear next. Baby daddy's name isn't signed on the baby's birth certificate. Why? Because baby mama had her new boyfriend at the time sign the birth certificate without baby daddy knowing about it.
We had separated. I had started dating someone else.
Are you on the birth certificate?
No, ma'am.
No, I go there. He cuts the umbilical cord. He's on the birth certificate.
He didn't even cut the umbilical cord.
The boyfriend's name's on the birth certificate?
Yes, Your Honor. I have her birth certificate right here.
So hold on. This is a birth certificate, certificate of live birth, Brinley Ann Smith, and father's name is Nicholas Dwayne Smith.
One thing is for sure. These guys aren't ready to come to a resolution, as their back-and-forth dispute was not helping, and the plaintiff's crazy acting was sparking more turmoil in this conflict. The only way to know about the truth was to reveal whatever DNA envelope was hiding.
Mr. Schrull, you are her father.
I am.
Oh, God. Thank you.
Then I apologize. I apologize for everything. I really do. I'm sorry I put you through this.
I'm just so happy after 2 years, you finally know you can finally start being there.
And I will be.
Super hug.
Would you be willing to give me a hug?
Can I give you a hug?
Sometimes you can only imagine what goes through the minds of some parents to make them make certain decisions. Mr. Harrison was suing the defendant for paternity fraud because he claimed he signed the birth certificate for their child under false pretenses. He also believed the defendant was never faithful throughout their relationship. He opened his case like this.
Mr. Harrison, you are suing the defendant, Ms. Grant, for paternity fraud. You've also petitioned the court to remove your name from the acknowledgement of paternity document for 4-year-old Aaliyah Harrison because you claim you signed it under false pretenses.
Well, Your Honor, I signed my acknowledgement for paternity for my daughter, and I've done everything for her since the day she's been born.
He couldn't hide his anger at all. He claimed that the man she had an affair with was a friend she had known for over 15 years. Mr. Harrison and baby mama had been together for 8 years, and throughout that period, she was intimate with the other man.
She had this affair with this person for 15 years. I've only been with her for 8. So this goes way before we were ever even together in the first place. So after 8 years with her and a previous child before the one in question, we've already had a child together. So she's been cheating on me literally the entire 8-year span that we were together, including the time of our first child.
So, baby daddy was actually right about the affair going on for a long time. As she could recall, she had known the other man since she was 18 years old. She claimed he helped her with little things like taking care of her first child and sorting out the bills. And on some days, they would kick it in bed, even while she was in a relationship with Mr. Harrison.
This person was a friend of mine. I had met this person when I was 18 years old. I was a single parent of a 2-year-old daughter at the time. He helped me with her. He helped me financially. He has bought cars. He has paid rent. He has paid bills, okay? When I met Mr. Harrison and I told my friend, I'm in love and we're gonna have a baby. And he wished me the best. He said, I'm gonna bow out gracefully. I know you'd like to get married. And you know, that wasn't his intention for me.
Baby mama sure knows how to keep a secret, all right? I mean, how do you have a sexual relationship with a friend for 15 years and still maintain a romantic relationship with your boyfriend for 8 years? That takes some real nerve. But in her defense, she claimed she was sleeping with the other guy when she conceived her baby.
But I didn't lie about the paternity. I lied about whether or not I was seeing somebody, but like I said, the person wasn't even in our area at the time.
So you're saying you were not sleeping with this person?
Not at that time, no.
During the time Aaliyah was conceived?
But how am I supposed to ever believe that after an entire 8-year relationship? Aaliyah's only 4 now. You see what I'm saying? That's a long time to supposedly not just be,
that's a long time.
With.
There you have it. Baby mama has some serious nerve to say something like that after cheating throughout the relationship. Well, guess what? Baby daddy wasn't a saint either. He also stepped stepped out of the relationship and kicked it in bed with another woman. But all that didn't matter to him. He was just tired of baby mama's lies.
I tried, and it wasn't, I love her and I love my kids so much, that I was willing to bend over backwards and forgive her for all of her misdeeds, all of them.
What about all your misdeeds?
Every single
Don't sit
one
there
of
and
them.
act like you haven't cheated on me.
I'm not saying that.
He cheated on me with someone who is, he's an indie pro wrestler. He cheated on me with someone who they call ring rats. They call them ring rats for a reason, Your Honor.
Okay, the relationship is definitely torn.
Yes.
In turmoil.
Even though she had been cheating all this while with the other man, she believed deep in her heart that Mr. Harrison was the father of her child. They dive into the argument of the window of conception, and it turns into an all-out war. Here's how it played out.
So, what day was Aaliyah born?
Her birthday is September 15th of 2010.
September 15th, 2010. If her birthday's September 15th, the dates of conception would be somewhere between December 19th to December 27th.
Yes, ma'am. Her birthday is September 15th.
You say this is a blizzard. This is how you know it could not be the other man's child, is because this man doesn't like the cold.
Well, that didn't end nicely. After all the yelling, baby mama changed her story and started to say that all she wanted to do was try to fix her relationship with Mr. Harrison. She admits that what she did was wrong, but she loves Mr. Harrison and hopes they can make it work. Is that even possible after cheating for 8 years?
I have people right now telling me that I ought to be ashamed of myself for even being here to prove to this man who I am in love with at this very moment, even though he is accusing me of not knowing who the father of my child is, that I ought to be ashamed of myself for wanting to come in front of you and prove to him and the rest of the world that yes, I've done wrong, but I'm willing to admit that, and I'm willing to right those wrongs for my children.
I, for one, don't think they can find their way back after all the lies, but who am I to judge? Anyway, there's no need to try to delay the inevitable. The results are sitting pretty with the judge, and it's time to unveil who the father of the child is.
Mr. Harrison, you are her father.
I told you.
I'm happy.
Good. Good.
This was completely traumatizing. These two brothers came to court because they had some real doubts that their uncle might actually be their father. Trust me, guys. It's a really crazy roller coaster. I hope your seats are locked in.
You've always believed the man in this photograph is your father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Then, just recently, you learned that your biological father may actually be your father's brother.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mrs. Shivers, you confessed that you slept with both your ex-husband and his brother.
Now, Ms. Shivers, who happened to be their mother, was one hell of a mischievous woman. She had a husband who she was intimate with, of course, then went on to sleep with his brother. Who in the world does that?
You know I'm your son. You know you my son, right? So
Yeah, it was basically like a family get together. It was a family function. You know how people get when they, indulge or whatnot. I guess he overindulged and the truth came to light, so he approached my brother.
It's not the truth.
Well,
believe whatever you want to believe.
okay, we're leaving the door open. Believe what you want to believe. Assume what you want to assume.
Yeah.
He assumes Ronnie's his dad.
Now, the crazy thing was that Ms. Shivers did admit to being intimate with the two brothers. She was blaming it on the fact that she was lonely and had nowhere to go. Yeah, right. Like that makes any sense at all. I'm pretty speechless right now.
Nowhere to lay my head, and we grew up together. We're best friends. I did what I had to do to keep a roof over the head for this one, for Eugene.
You know what? My mom did everything in her power and her will and everything to take care of us. I'm not here to crucify my mom or nothing like that, or, it ain't nothing like that. We just want to know what's going on. My brother feels a certain way about something.
Now, one of the brothers did admit that he noticed some really funny actions from his dad before he passed. I promise you guys, your ears aren't ready for what you are about to hear. These guys had one messed up family.
Fortunately, we had to take a trip down the road, and my dad, my father, he wrote me more than he did my brother, you know what I'm saying? And you don't do that if that's your child, you're supposed to be there through thick and thin like my mom, I heard from her every day of, that place or that situation, but when we were in that situation, he didn't reach out to my brother at all, not really at all, so I understand.
And Ronnie's always been there, right?
Yeah, and Ronnie's always been there
no matter what.
Now, the craziest thing happens in the court, and it will leave you speechless. One of the brothers believes that his dad isn't his uncle, but here's where the shock comes in. His mom says, "Hold up, you might be wrong. There might be another man who is your father." Well, I told you, these guys have a really messed up family.
credible doubts as it relates to Eugene as well?
Yes, Your Honor, maybe so. What? Well, you want to hear it, that's I'm going to tell you.
You ain't never said that before?
Well,
and I asked you who's my dad?
John Ellis.
You said John Ellis. So now it's a possibility somebody else might be my dad?
Well, you got tested, son. We're going to bring it out. We'll bring it all out. I'm telling the truth, so let's bring it on out. Whatever my babies want to know, I'll let you know.
I didn't know that.
Now let's get Uncle Dad into the courtroom. Mr. McClellan walks into the courtroom to give his side of the story. Well, guess what? He actually believes he is the father. Ain't no mind games here, people. It's starting to really look insane. Ms. Shivers had some explaining to do.
We only had sex once. She must have meant we only had sex once sober. You hear me? That's what she must have meant, you know? Because she can't even remember the first time, you know?
But you remember.
Oh, boy. Really?
No more details needed.
Okay.
The period window of conception, it was during the time you were in Chicago with Mr. McClellan.
Yes.
Right. Another truth bomb hits the air in the courtroom. Ms. Shivers had to be one crazy woman, trust me. She says that aside from the two brothers she got intimate with, there was a possibility that another man was in the picture. Oh my God.
I met him when I was waitressing in the restaurant, and he ran a big hotel, and he also, you know, gave me jobs and stuff. That's when Eugene was like about 4 or 5. We had a couple of little nights, you know, where we had a few drinks and we did have intimacy. He died, you know, it might be a possibility because when I was staying at Mama Mildred's with Ronnie and everybody.
About time we draw the curtain on this paternity showdown. Will it be a double dose of daddy drama, or will the clouds of uncertainty finally clear? The key to the truth was in the envelope. Here goes nothing.
Pertaining to whether John Ellis is your biological father, John Ellis is your father.
I knew that.
In the case of Arthur Ellis v. Shivers McClellan, pertaining to whether John Ellis or his brother Ronald McClellan is your biological father, John Ellis is your father.
Mrs. Thompson walks into court today yelling that she will never let her 11-year-old marriage die, even though she cheated on her husband back-to-back. Ooh, she's feisty. She says that her 4-month-old child definitely belongs to her husband, Mr. Thompson, and his doubts about the child are basically cuckoo and have zero truth to them. Let us listen to her talk her stuff.
It's very difficult. You know, I want Micah to be his son. I don't want to lose my best friend. We've been together for so long, and, you know, I just don't want to lose him.
All right. Well, take me back. I want to understand how this relationship began. Certainly, at some point, you all were happy together.
Yes.
Oh, she sounds really sad and definitely does not want to lose Mr. Thompson. But does Mr. Thompson buy this act? Well, he says that their relationship has been rocky, and Mrs. Thompson here is allergic to cooking and cleaning, whatever that means. But that's not really our business. Our business is this baby and the doubts Mr. Thompson has, and here they are.
I had found out she was doing some things that she shouldn't have been doing. Text messaging, meeting up with guys and stuff like that. So when I confronted her, she said it wasn't true. So when she said it wasn't true, I found out otherwise. I had to get a DNA test on my first two boys. We married, but every time while we're in a marriage, and every time you get pregnant, I gotta get a DNA test.
Yeah, that is a super weird arrangement you've got going on for you there, Patna. You can't be DNA testing all your kids. And if you do, don't be surprised that you one day end up in paternity court facing Judge Lauren. But what does Lil Mrs. Thompson, who does not want her marriage to end, know about all of this?
I was gonna ask the same question.
You know, I don't understand.
What happened in this relation?
Honestly, Your Honor, I think when we first got married, we really weren't ready to be married.
You didn't understand the depth of the commitment and the responsibility of marriage.
Exactly.
Okay.
This is why I felt went wrong in the marriage.
Okay, valid, but a very weird reason to cheat. Seriously, that is such a super weird answer, Mrs. Thompson. What do you mean you did not get married at the right time, so your marriage got rocky, so you stepped out? Women, am I right? Anyway, Mr. Tomposen has a few more interesting comments here.
Me and LaToya had ample opportunities where I came to LaToya and I was like, listen here, you're not doing certain things in the marriage that should be going on. You're not working. If you're not gonna work, I need you to cook, clean, you know, we need to have sex on the regular, you know, things like that.
But was it just on her to fix, or was it both of you all?
But the thing about it is she really don't talk, so she don't tell me my fault.
Yeah, this is paternity court, not couples counseling, so I will be needing the both of you to pack it up and get right to the point right about away. Mrs. Thompson insists that their marriage was super great until one day, for no reason at all, Mr. Thompson decided to get out to get some milk, and Mr. Thompson says the milk was really good too.
When I left, she said she was gonna work on herself. Me and her had ample
While he was
conversations
with somebody else.
about her working on herself. She was working on herself because she deleted me off social media. I found out she started adding all these other dudes to her social media page.
Because you were gone. You were living with somebody else.
Really? Really? Okay, so why should she not move on then? But Mr. Thompson does have a reason to be angry, because he came back to be with her, and they decided to work on their marriage. And then Miss Thompson went to Atlanta for a supposed job interview. But it wasn't no job interview. It was her interestingly viewing another man.
She was like, well, we went out, and my friend took my phone, and she said, we out, so you don't need to be on the phone. I'm like, man, you married, you got kids, and what woman gonna tell you some trash like that?
So once she came back, how did you find out that she had been sleeping with someone else?
Well, I already knew what she was going to do. I didn't have no proof, but I knew she was going to do. Now,
Is that what you were going to do, Miss Thompson?
I can't even lie about it. Yeah, it was.
Now, that's the first time.
Phew, and there you have it, folks. And Mrs. Thompson did not go for this interview just once. She went back a week later. That is why Mr. Thompson thinks baby Pate Thompson belongs to another man and not him. But what does Mrs. Thompson have to say for herself? She must have something, right? Yes, she does, and boy, oh boy, it is spicy, too.
Yes, it's true, Your Honor, but he skips over all the stuff that he did. Besides the going back and forth all summer between me and the other girl, and then moving all the way to Alabama with the girl and leaving me with the kids. But he want to talk about one time when he had the kids and they were looking for me.
Wow, Mrs. Thompson sure can give it hot. So now we have got two adults who cheated on one another, and the best way to see if this marriage can stay a marriage is see if the DNA test proves that this baby boy belongs to Mr. Thompson.
Mr. Thompson, you are not the father. I know that's not what you wanted to hear. How are you feeling in this moment?
I had already accepted the situation when I knew he wasn't, but it's to actually know he's not mad, it just hurts a little bit more. The other dude don't want nothing to do with him, but like I said, I can't let another child grow up without a father.
Mr. Brown says found a sex tape of his wife with another man, and now he's saying that he is 100% certain he isn't the father of her 11-month-old child, Amira. Ms. McKinney, who is also pregnant, is screaming that that's a lie and that Mr. Brown must step up as he is definitely Amira's dad. Here is how she puts it.
Of your wife with another man, you now intend to prove he fathered Amira. We'll meet that man in a moment, but first, Ms. McKinney, tell us why this court date is so important.
He's denying the fact that that's his daughter, and it's not about looks, it's about DNA, and I'm here today to prove and show that he is the father of Amira Brown.
Well, we'll see about that. Mr. Brown, on the other hand, has no doubts that the DNA test results will come back negative. He also thinks that the man who starred in that video with his wife may be the child's father.
Because when she was born, she did not look like me. And I waited, I gave it time to see how she would look, and more every day that I look and take pictures with Amira, she has his face, and it bothers me a lot.
So you feel Amira looks like the man you saw on the sex tape with your wife?
Yes, I do.
Wait, did Mr. Brown just accuse his wife of incest? That's insane. But how did he even get this tape that caused all of this? And how did Miss McKinney and this man act out such a tape?
The girls, they like snatching her phone. So they grabbed her phone before they could even get into the video. I grabbed it and it pressed play. And I seen the beginning of the video and I didn't see what I liked, so I just disclosed it. I didn't watch the whole video.
The video came up or you went looking to see what was in her phone?
They were scrolling through her pictures, whatever. And before they could even get to it, I grabbed the phone.
Oh, because you knew it was something inappropriate.
Yeah, it didn't look right. It didn't look right. It looked like a video. So, you know, I clicked on it. I didn't like what I seen and I disclosed it.
Sheesh, 10 times. Gosh, things are starting to look insane. And the man who's in the tape is in court today, and he doesn't mince words at all. It's straight to the point with this guy.
Well, when I first met Miss McKinley, we was talking on the dating site, and the day I met her, Mr. Brown was present, but they wasn't together. But I seen them face to face.
Oh, the day you met her in person?
Yes.
He was there?
Yes.
So how did the sexual relationship start with Miss McKinney?
Me and Miss McKinley been having sex.
It's Miss McKinney.
Oh, Miss McKinley.
I don't know about you, but that doesn't sound like just 10 times. The real number is probably double that, at the very least. Anyway, Miss McKinney got pregnant, and here is what she told everyone.
And she's ready to give birth.
So who did she say the father was?
She didn't tell me
I said it was complicated.
I believe it was complicated because, like I said,
I was back and forth for him and him.
That sex
back
tape
and forth.
was April 9th, and Amira was born April 9th.
Did that math add up?
No.
No, that maths didn't add up at all. So Ms. McKinney was acting out a tape on the day she gave birth? What? Really? At 9 months pregnant? That's insane. The funny thing is that before Ms. McKinney gave birth, Mr. Brown already knew that something fishy was going on. Here is how he puts it.
There, I was present.
And then when you found out, did you say, oh, I'm so excited, or did you say, is this my child?
First, I was like, oh yeah, I'm excited. And then when we went to the hospital back in September, they would say she was 11 weeks pregnant. And then when they told her the due date,
it was 12 weeks.
Yeah, 12 weeks. 12 weeks pregnant, actually.
Okay, Mr. Spidey Senses, you felt something you want right and decided to do something about it. Mr. Brown was present at the birth and made sure not to sign for the birth certificate even though he was legally married to Ms. McKinney. Once he saw the baby, he thought something was wrong, and he explains how in this long, crazy long, almost schizophrenic rant.
I said, hey, when I was born, I was pale. But wait, look at her lip. Why does her lip look so fat? That's not my lip. My lip does not look like that. Oh, no, it does not. So from that time in, I put it in my head, I'm like, wait, okay, if she's not mine, then she gotta be Mr. Jonathan's child, because she started looking more and more like him.
Wow, you can clearly see why Mr. Brown feels so strongly that this child isn't his. He has done a full scientific study on this stuff. He knows it in his heart, and there's nothing anyone can do to change his mind. And now, to blow your mind, guess what?
And not only that, she's pregnant with my child now, so it's like...
You said now you're having another baby?
Yeah. I may be the father, right?
No, that's my child.
But let me ask you, could you be the father?
No.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay. So, do you believe you are Amira's father?
No, I do not.
When's the last time you were intimate with Miss McKinney?
2017 of April.
Oh, so it's scientifically improbable that this other fellow is the father. Does that mean that Mr. Brown could end up being the father after everything? That would be crazy. Let's see what the DNA test has to say about this.
Mr. Fowler, you are not the father.
Thank you. I really appreciate you. Thank you.
He's not the father, Mr. Brown.
Okay, I was like to say I apologize.
Mr. Brown, you are not the father. Miss McKinney, are you okay?
What just happened? So neither man fathered Amira, so who is the father then? There's a third man in the mix? If there's a third man, why didn't Ms. McKinney let us know? Well, there's nothing left for her to do but cry about her sorry fate.
Jerome, help her. Jerome, help her. Jerome will help you up, Miss McKinney, and I want you to sit in the chair. Someone call the medic, please.
Mrs. Graves might have been fast and loose when she was younger, but today she wants her husband to step up and start acting like a father to her 19-year-old daughter. This is despite the fact that 2 other men could possibly be the girl's father. Here is how she puts it.
I feel like he kind of punishing me and my daughter. You know,
punishing you how?
Like the way he treats it. You know, I mean, he's not the man that he should be for the family.
What is he punishing you for?
We had a DNA for my first daughter. It was 22 years ago, and he took care of her for a whole year. And I was always honest. I always told him there was for her as well.
Okay, this is getting confusing. Let's recap. 22 years ago, Ms. Graves had a daughter, and it was proven that Mr. Baker isn't the father of her daughter. And now she says he's punishing her and her second daughter for that by claiming he isn't the second child's father, too. But Mr. Baker says he is just showing tough love. How exactly does he show this tough love? Here's how.
Explain, how does he treat your daughter? Why are you saying, what is this tough love you're talking?
He's saying tough love, but he cusses her. I mean, he's rude.
Mr. Baker, why are you cursing a 19-year-old girl? What is this behavior?
I mean, verbal words come out due to the fact that, you know, hey, she felt like I hurt her. So,
he does me the same.
Now we are getting somewhere. Ms. Graves says this entire thing is affecting her marriage to him, and that Mr. Baker must get his act together. This is so much baggage for a family to carry for over 20 years, right? Wait, they've been married this whole time, right?
You two have been in a relationship for almost 22 years.
No, ma'am.
We've been dealing with each other for 22 years.
No, ma'am.
Okay, I think that's what I meant, but thank you for the clarification.
Yes, ma'am.
No, I appreciate that. But what I want to make clear is you were not married until later on.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. It's making sense now. Ms. Graves says when she told Mr. Baker that, hey, this child might look like you, he started cursing her out and belittled her in front of all his family members. Mr. Baker, on the other hand, says no one ever told him the child could be his. And he has more allegations for Ms. Graves.
I mean, you were with other guys at the time. I was with other people. So
it didn't matter.
Can't just say,
you were a possibility, so you should have said okay and went on with it.
All
But
right,
Mr.
okay.
We wouldn't be
do you
here today.
Do you remember this instant when you were on and off? At some point, she came to you and said, "I think Vanisha is your daughter." Do you remember that?
I don't remember as far as like, you know, just saying.
You don't remember cussing me out in front of your mom?
It kind of looks like Mr. Baker remembers, to be honest, but it's not a couple's case on paternity court if husband and wife don't start screaming at each other in court.
Okay, but what about when she was 10?
When she was 10,
and we were together, and she was calling you daddy.
You told me that she was my father.
You told me that she looked like you.
Okay,
similarity.
I said that.
Okay.
I know I said
okay,
that.
then.
But I didn't say,
so
did you say that I was her father? I mean, you know, when you see a child and you look at a child, you look at him and you be like, okay, well.
Yeah, she's right. But is Ms. Graves forgetting that she's the one who was sleeping with different men when she conceived her child? This is insane. But you kind of get where Ms. Graves is coming from when she says this.
Mistake after mistake after mistake has led us here. I mean, we're separated right now. I went to my mom's house for 2 weeks just to clear my mind. I have terminal cancer. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't even know how to treat me with that. He's not compassionate. He cussed me out. You know, I'm doing chemo, and right before I do the chemo, we're arguing.
Wow, this is one nutty family. Mr. Baker may have some legitimate grievances, but he's going about them in probably the wrongest way possible. It really doesn't look like this marriage is going to stand the test of time. Anyway, Judge Lauren gives Mr. Baker a good talking to for his behavior.
You married this woman 4 years ago after
ma'am.
22 years of on and off involvement.
Yes.
Now she's dealing with a very serious medical situation.
Yes, Your Honor.
Surely you understand.
I do. I mean, I really
that
do.
arguing and getting her upset doesn't do anything for her health, for her care. You understand that,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, Mr. Baker may have a point, but right now he's getting on all our nerves, not just Judge Lawrence. Now let's get into Mr. Baker's doubts. Why doesn't he think Vanisha here is his kid?
Same time, the timing, it could match up and it could not match up.
The two other men, how did you find out about these?
I mean,
two
she
other
told
men?
me about him. Miss Graves told me about
What
it.
did she tell you?
She said that it could be a possibility that two other guys that she's involved with could be the father of Miss Curl. And I was like,
And
you
so,
know,
Ms. Graves, you did admit to him that there were two other potential fathers.
Yes, ma'am.
So Ms. Graves here is kind of playing the victim. She's asking so much of Mr. Baker while asking little or nothing from the other men who might be her kid's father. That's just not how it works. Here is why Ms. Graves thinks her daughter is Mr. Baker's.
It was because of the conception and then the resemblance. You know, when she was 10 years old, we got back into a relationship. At that time, he started seeing things. Look at her eyes, look at her nose, look at her, you know, it was always her walk, the way she walked, and all of that. It was always something.
These guys clearly have some deep-rooted issues they have to work through, and one way to do that is by getting them the DNA test results they desperately need. And here's what that test result says.
Mr. Baker, you are not her father.
you're my daughter no matter what. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, y'all. I just want to.
If I tell you that we needed to change it, because I wasn't happy sexually.
I'm working 40 hours a week. I'm trying to provide for you and my son.
Yikes. The point of getting married is that you don't get to step out to find out whether there's someone else who can give you what you want in the bed. Maybe Ms. Chappelle didn't get that memo, and now her marriage is on the brink of collapse. But at least she regrets it. Who?
Do I regret it? Yes, I do. I do regret it every day, but I don't regret my daughter. She's the best thing that's ever happened to me.
And so you admit to having an affair?
Yes, I did.
How did that start?
Well, he was a friend, and we started sexting, and I would hide it. We would send messages on Facebook. I'd drop my son off at the babysitter's. I would tell my husband I was going somewhere else.
This is so embarrassing. Can you imagine being in Mr. Chappelle's shoes? Having your wife testify that you just don't bring it in bed in open court? I would literally die from that embarrassment. That's for sure. It's a miracle Mr. Chappelle is still standing. Now let's talk about the window of conception and who the father could be.
Well, I have the calendar to show I had sex with both of them on the same day at one point.
Yeah.
Okay. Jerome, will you please hand me that evidence, please? Can't get any closer in proximity than that. Green, we have the days you were intimate with the other potential father.
Yes.
Which is inside the window of conception, which is outlined in pink here.
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, things are not getting any clearer here. And you'd think, well, Miss Chappelle here is a married woman. She's surely having protected intercourse with the man she's having an affair with, right?
It was always unprotected sex. I figured he would pull out, but he never did. And I would tell him constantly, I don't want to get pregnant, I don't want to get pregnant, and he would never listen to me.
Your Honor, she had
Mr.
unprotected...
Chappelle, how does it feel to hear this? This is a lot of information.
It makes me
And
sick.
this is your wife?
Yeah, and I'm working 40 hours a week trying to provide for my family.
You know, I messed up and you can't just blame it all on me.
This is insane. Despite all of this, Mrs. Chappelle is taking absolutely no responsibility for her behavior. No accountability, nothing. The DNA test has to quickly put Mr. Chappelle out of his misery right now.
Mr. Chappelle, you are not her biological father.
What'd you do this for?
I'm so sorry. I really am.
I'm still gonna be there for her.
That's exactly what this court wanted to hear.